They tried to frame her for her own shooting, but when the truth came out, the tables turned in the most powerful way. Welcome to the Untold Struggles, the channel that unmasks the injustice silenced by power. The stories you hear here will break your heart, fire up your spirit, and remind you of the resilience of those who refuse to be silenced. Today's story is one of hate turned into violence, and courage turned into justice. Stick with us to the end, because the way this story flips will shock you. It started with whispers across the fence. Angela Morris, a 42-year-old black woman, had just moved into a quiet suburban neighborhood in Utah with her teenage daughter, Layla. She worked as a nurse, her shifts long and demanding, but she had saved for years to buy this home, a dream she never thought she'd reach. But dreams sometimes come with shadows. Her next-door neighbor, Clint Henderson, a retired contractor in his 50s, made no effort to hide his disdain. From the first week, his comments came sharp and cold. "Not sure people like you fit here. This neighborhood's been good. Don't go changing it." Angela tried to ignore him. Layla urged her, "Mama, don't let him get to you. He's just bitter." But bitterness festers. And one night, it would explode. It was a chilly autumn evening. Angela had just returned from a double shift at the hospital. Exhausted, she parked her car in the driveway, humming softly as she gathered her things. Out of nowhere, headlights cut across her lawn. Clint's truck screeched to a stop. He staggered out, red-faced, holding a pistol in his trembling hands. "You people don't belong here," he shouted, voice booming into the night. Angela froze. "Clint, put that down. I haven't done anything to you." But Clint wasn't listening. He fired once, twice. The world spun. Angela collapsed by her car, pain searing through her shoulder. Layla, who had been at the window upstairs, screamed, "Mama!" Neighbors rushed out, phones recording, sirens called. But here's where the injustice twisted the knife. When police arrived, Clint claimed, "She came at me. She's dangerous." Angela, bleeding and gasping, was handcuffed before being rushed to the hospital. In the days that followed, Clint spun his lies. He painted Angela as the aggressor, accusing her of trespassing, threatening him, and even claiming she had been involved in suspicious activity. Angela, barely recovering from her wound, watched the news in horror. Local woman accused of confrontation with neighbor before being shot. She couldn't believe it. Shot in her own driveway. And somehow, she was the suspect. Layla cried every night. "Mama, they're treating him like the victim. What if nobody believes us?" But Angela's resolve hardened. "Baby, they'll know the truth. They have to." Then came the turning point. A neighbor, Mr. Delgado, had captured the entire incident on his doorbell camera. The footage showed everything. Angela calmly walking from her car, Clint storming out with his gun, and Angela collapsing after the shots. The evidence destroyed Clint's lies. When prosecutors finally brought the case to court, Clint's smugness began to fade. If you believe Angela deserves justice, pause this video right now and hit that subscribe button, because what happens next will have you cheering for her strength and shocked at Clint's downfall. The courtroom buzzed with tension. Angela, her shoulders still stiff from surgery, walked in with quiet dignity. Layla sat behind her, squeezing her mother's hand for courage. Across the room, Clint sat pale, his arrogance replaced with panic. The prosecutor played the footage. The jury gasped. Clint's defense crumbled in seconds. Then came Angela's testimony. "I bought my home. I worked for it. I never threatened him. All I wanted was peace for me and my daughter. But he saw my skin before he saw my humanity." Her words silenced the room. The irony hit like thunder. The man who swore Angela didn't belong was now fighting for his own freedom. The jury deliberated for only 3 hours. "Guilty on all counts," the foreman announced. Clint's face fell. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Neighbors applauded. Reporters swarmed. For the first time in months, Angela felt the weight lifting. But deep down, she knew this wasn't the end. Hate doesn't die easily. Standing before the cameras, Angela spoke with fire in her voice. "I nearly lost my life because of hate. But the truth always rises. This verdict isn't just for me. It's for every black woman who's ever been told she doesn't belong. Don't ever let anyone steal your dignity. Don't let them silence your story. Her words spread across social media, sparking rallies and marches in her support. Angela was no longer just a victim. She had become a voice. But as Angela began rebuilding her life, a chilling message appeared. One morning, Layla found an envelope on their porch. Inside was a photo of their house, marked with a red X. No words, just a mark. Angela held her daughter close, her heart pounding. This isn't over. Her hands trembled as she tucked the photo into a drawer. She didn't want Layla to see her fear, but fear has a way of leaking through silence. Within days, small disturbances began. The sound of footsteps outside late at night, a brick thrown at the mailbox, spray paint on the sidewalk, a crude message, "Go back." Neighbors whispered about friends of Clint, men who visited him before his arrest, men who had muttered their support in hushed tones. Angela felt trapped. Even after winning in court, the weight of hate followed her like a shadow. Layla asked one night, "Mama, do you think they'll hurt us too?" Angela pulled her close. "They already tried, baby, but we're still here. That means we're stronger." Angela reported the threats to local police. The officer's response chilled her more than the messages themselves. "Could be kids messing around," he shrugged. "We'll keep an eye on it, but there's not much we can do without proof." Angela wanted to scream. Proof? She had a bullet scar in her shoulder. Did that not prove enough? It was clear. The system that had barely worked once was already turning its back. But Angela wasn't entirely alone. The footage of her shooting had gone viral months earlier, sparking outrage and rallies. Activists began visiting her, holding signs outside her house. "We stand with Angela. No justice, no peace." Their presence gave her strength, but it also escalated the threats. Cars slowed down, men yelled slurs from windows, and one night, a bottle of gasoline was found by her fence. The danger was growing. Family, if you're watching this, hit subscribe right now. Because Angela's fight isn't just hers. It's a story of survival against hate that still exists today. You don't want to miss how this next chapter unfolds. One night, Layla was walking home from a friend's house when a black SUV crept up behind her. A man leaned out the window and hissed, "Your mama should have stayed quiet." Layla ran, her heart pounding, until she burst through the front door in tears. Angela felt the blood drain from her face. It wasn't just threats anymore. They were coming closer. Angela knew then. Waiting for the system to protect them was no longer an option. Angela, once soft-spoken and reserved, began to change. She reached out to local activists, journalists, and even civil rights lawyers. If the police wouldn't protect her, she would force the world to see what was happening. She organized community watches around her neighborhood. Supporters took shifts patrolling her block, cameras ready. Her house became more than a home. It became a fortress and a symbol. When a news outlet aired Angela's story, the photo with the red X, the SUV stalking Layla, the city erupted. Protests swelled outside the police department. Politicians were pressured to act. Suddenly, the same officers who brushed her off were at her door, offering increased patrols. But Angela no longer looked at them with gratitude. "You're not here for me. You're here because the world is watching." The underdog had turned the tables. She was no longer begging for safety. She was demanding accountability. But the fight wasn't done. Late one night, while Angela and Layla slept, a Molotov cocktail was hurled through their front window. Flames erupted, the sound of shattering glass jolting them awake. Angela grabbed Layla, choking on smoke, and rushed out the back door. Neighbors rushed with hoses, dousing the fire until firefighters arrived. The house was damaged, but they had survived. As the fire trucks pulled away, Angela stood in the yard, trembling but unbroken. Reporters swarmed, cameras flashing. And with smoke still rising from her home, Angela spoke directly into the microphone. "You tried to kill me once. You tried to silence me again tonight. But let me make this clear. I'm not going anywhere. You can burn my house, but you will never burn my voice." Her words echoed online, turning her into a symbol nationwide. Days later, Angela received another letter. This time, it wasn't just a photo. It was a list of names. Her name at the top. Layla's beneath it, and underlined in red ink were the words, Next time, we won't miss. Angela's knees buckled. She clutched Layla's hand, whispering, "They're coming for us." And this time, we have to be ready. The screen fades to black. To be continued. If Angela's fight for survival shook you, share this story right now. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Untold Struggles. Because what comes next is more dangerous than ever.